Hi, I'm Vanessa, and welcome to my channel. I hate saying that because I feel like everyone says that, but welcome. And today I'm going to be showing you how to do this look that I have on my face right now. You know, just like a little cat eye and a bold red lip. So keep on watching. So I'm going to start off using a primer so I can banish all my fine lines and wrinkles because I'm getting old. And I just put a little bit on the back of my hand and I'm just gonna rub it in. Under my eyes, around my nose, especially my forehead. So I'm just gonna move my bangs out of the way. They're gonna look a little crazy right now, but. You just need a little bit. You don't really need too much. So then I'm gonna get a little foundation and I'm gonna use Wet n Wild's Photo Focus Foundation. And I like to put it on the back of my hand because it keeps it nice and warm and runny. So I just put it on the back of my hand. And then I get my little stippling brush. My brushes are kind of dirty, so just ignore that. And I'm gonna dip it in and I'm just gonna start buffing it into my skin. I know a lot of people like to use beauty blenders, but I'm just not a fan. I know, unpopular opinion, but I just feel like they take forever. And make sure you get the little crevices around your nose, because that tends to be kind of red. And I'm just buffing. And make sure you blend it all in because you don't want to have lines everywhere. That's gross. Alright, next I'm going to put some concealer on. I'm using Tarte Shape Tape. I'm only going to put a little bit on because I don't want it to be so dramatic. So I'm just going to put a little bit where I want to highlight and conceal. Then I'm going to take another stippling brush, and this is just a really, like, a little smaller one, and I'm just going to blend it in. I'm also going to put a little bit over this little pimple right here. And then I'm just blending under the eye, kind of like in a V shape. Covering up those dark circles under my brow. And you want to drag it down a little bit because remember, no lines. So after that's all done, we're gonna start with my cheeks. And we're gonna contour a little bit. I'm using this contouring blush and bronzing cream from e.l.f. It looks kind of busted in here, but it's amazing. And I'm gonna use this broken brush because I really like it. So I'm gonna just sink in my cheeks like a little fish. And I'm gonna start applying it. I'm just carving out my cheekbone, trying to get them nice and sharp. And then I like to get my foundation brush and go over the top of it a little bit and under it. And then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And if you're like, oh my God, I used way too much, you just get your foundation brush and you go over it. Then I use the remainder on my brush and I go over my jawline. You can put a little bit more. It's really creamy, so you don't want to use too much. Don't like dab it in there. And then I put a little bit on my forehead. Even though I have bangs, what if I decide to pull my hair up? You know, it makes my forehead a little smaller. And then I like to put some on my nose, on the sides of my nose. Sometimes I'll use a smaller brush but I really like to use this brush. It just depends. It depends what I'm doing, honestly. If I know I'm gonna be, you know, for dramatic makeup, I'll do a smaller brush so that my nose looks a little more defined. But if I'm just doing my makeup for something not nighttime-ish, I'll just do a little bit of contouring. So I'm just gonna get a little bit of concealer again and put it down the middle of my nose. So then I just like to make sure it's even. And like I said, since it's super creamy, there's always some on the brush, so you don't really have to re-dip it so many times. Alright, now brows. There's a piece of hair in my brow brush. So we're just gonna brush them. Always brush your brows. Even if you don't brush your hair, brush your brows. Because it makes a difference. It really makes a difference. And you're just brushing them up, just giving them that little arch shape. Okay. I'm gonna be using a little angled brush and an eyeshadow, just a matte brown eyeshadow to fill in my brows. Sometimes I'll use a pencil, but today I feel like using powder. So I'm gonna take my brush, I'm gonna dip it in as much as I want, and I'm just gonna start in the front of my brow and follow my brow shape. I always change my hair color, but I never change my brow color. I just think I'd look weird with lighter brows. Actually, I had lighter brows a really long time ago when I was in high school, and I felt like they looked like, it was like a squirrel color. It was weird. So ever since then, I just keep my dark brows with really light hair, kind of like Madonna. I take my little brush if I went a little too far. I just kind of clean it up. Then I go on to my next brow. This is actually the perfect brow, and this is the not so perfect brow. This one always takes me more time, which is normal. Not everyone's brows are perfect. See, did you see how easy that is? And this one's just... And in the front, I like to go really light and just do tiny little strokes, because I don't have a lot of hair in the front of my brow, so I don't want it to look strange. So then if you want to clean up your brows, if you're in a hurry, I mean, this is fine. But if you want to clean up your brows a little bit, you can take a small, just little brush, and you can put a little bit of foundation on it. Like I said, I like to use the back of my hand. So put just a little bit on it, and you can clean up around so that they're perfect. You can also do the top of them. You know, you only want to use a little bit of concealer because you don't want to have a concealer mark at the top of your brow. Alrighty. So now that your brows are done, we're gonna do some blush and some highlighting. Like highlighting powder, not concealer. So I like, they say it's a bronzer, but it's more of a blush for me. It's Balm Desert by The Balm. Love it, amazing. And I'm gonna take my Wet n Wild brush and dip it in there. And since I already did my cheeks a little bit darker, I don't want to do too much blush. I mean, but if you're into that, you do that. And you just a little bit on the apples and go back. Apples of your cheeks and go back. And that's it. You don't want to do too much. But like I said, if you're into that. then we're gonna take Wet n Wild highlighter. I see this all over the internet, so when I saw it in Walgreens, I was like, I gotta try this and see if it's really worth the hype. And it is, as you can tell. It's dug in there. I really like it. I really like Inglot highlighter too, but this one's really extreme. This is, I think it's number 1. That's what I'm gonna assume it is. But I don't know if you can see that on camera, how bright that is. Can you see that? It's super sparkly, like crazy sparkly. But this one's more champagne and this is more like a peachy gold. What I mean is this is more pink and this is more cool. But today we're gonna be using Wet n Wild, but I'm gonna use this later because it's amazing. So I'm gonna take a little fan brush. This was a crown brush. I'm just gonna dip it in there. And I'm just gonna put it on the tops of my cheeks and a little bit on my temple. Same thing on the other side. I like a lot of highlight because I like to be sparkly. So you can put as much as you want, as little as you want. Put a little bit on my nose. I don't like to put that much on my nose because I feel like my nose is kind of big, so I don't like to draw attention to it. And then a little bit on my Cupid's bow. I like to put a lot here. I think it's because I secretly like to just put this brush on my Cupid's bow. A little bit on my chin, a little bit on my forehead. You can also grab a smaller little brush and you can put some at the bottom of your eyebrow. I'll probably do that towards the end though. Okay, so when that's done, we're gonna start on the eyes, the funnest part. So I'm gonna take a little bit of this Lorac eyeshadow primer and I'm just gonna put it on with my fingertip. I feel like with a brush sometimes it gets kind of sticky and I don't like that. Sticky on the brush because it's supposed to get a little tacky. So we're just gonna put a little primer and you put it all the way up to your brow bone. You're just kind of tapping it in. And I really like this Lorac one because it's blendable. When you put your shadows, you know how sometimes you use a certain primer and you can't move it? That's not cute. I don't like that. Same thing on the other side. You just tap it until you feel it getting kind of tacky. And with long nails, it's kind of hard to get in the corner, but you try and get that corner. All right. So I'm gonna keep my eyes kind of simple today. I'm just gonna do some brown shadows. And I'm gonna use the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. It's one of my favorites for just neutral eyes. And I'm gonna use the Sonia Kashuk. I think that's how you say it. Kashuk, something like that. Doesn't even have the lettering on it anymore because I use it that much. It's Kashuk. And I'm just gonna dip it into this second color. I honestly don't know. And also the back of my palette has no lettering on it. So it's the second color. I'm just gonna dip it a little bit and then just tap the excess off. And I'm just gonna go into the crease of my eye with this. So my eyes are a little hooded, especially this side. And just when you close it, just into your crease, like windshield wiper motions. And I'm just blending it in. And I'm gonna go a little higher with it, but not all the way up to my brow bone or anything like that. About right there is good. Get a little bit more, do the other eye. And you just want to make it even. So if one side's a little bit darker, add to the other. It's best if you just try to start with little product. Start with a little amount of product and then build it up. Because then you put too much and you're like, dang, I shouldn't have put that much. All right. So once you're satisfied with that, you can use a different blending brush or you can use the same one and go in with this color at the top. It's kind of like a soft peachy brown, and I like to use that to blend the lines out so there's not like just a harsh line on top of my eye. So I just get a little bit of it and I go around the edges of the line at the top. And that just makes it a little bit softer, not so hard. Like I said, you just when you're satisfied with it, then you can stop. Alrighty, so for my lid, I'm gonna use maybe a little sparkle. So I'm gonna use this little Morphe, well, let me see this palette real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna use this Morphe, it's the little palette, and it's just this little gold color at the top. It's really pretty. So I'm just gonna get a little flat brush to pack it onto my lid with. And I'm just gonna pack it on kind of like the empty area that I have right there. Not kind of like the empty area, I'm gonna pack it on the empty area. And so I'm just packing it on, packing it on. I like to put a little bit in the corner of my eye, you know, make those eyes pop. And this side, of course. So after you're done packing it on, you're gonna come back to that Shade to Light palette, and I'm gonna use that same packing brush, and I'm gonna go back in with that darker color that I used on my crease, and I'm just gonna put some, and just put a little bit, or put a lot, and you're just gonna put it at the bottom on your lash line, and you're just gonna rub it in. And you decide how far down you want to do it, you know? If you just like a little bit, you can stick close to your lash line, but if not, bring it down. And then I like to grab my blending brush again and go back in with that soft peachy color and just blend it out at the bottom. All right, so after, we're gonna do some liner. So I like to use two different types of liners. I like gel liner and liquid liner. This is just a Maybelline, or no, it's a Rimmel. And it's not my favorite, but this is what I had on hand. So I think that's what I'm gonna use. And I like it because it's waterproof. And this NYX one is really cool, but it's not waterproof. So we're just gonna stick with Rimmel today. And looks like that, you know, typical gel liner. And I'm gonna use a little angled brush. This is a Wet n Wild angled brush. I like using this, and then I have one by Tarte that's dual-sided, and I really like that one. It's kind of bent. It's a bent liner brush on one side and then just a regular one, but I couldn't find it, so I'm gonna use this. And again, I like to just grab a little bit and put it on the back of my hand. It's just habit. Whenever I do makeup on clients, I use the back of my hand a lot, so I just like to do that. You can also just swish it out of there. So this is the fun part, the cat eye part. All right, so I like to make sure my brush is super thin on both sides. And I like to start in the center of my eye. So I start right in the center, and I just draw a little line all the way across. And I know the struggle, okay, because I wasn't that good at liner at first. So then I go to the corner of my eye, and I just like to draw a little line going up. Kind of like where your lashes end, you're just gonna go up. You don't wanna go straight up, you don't wanna go to the side so your eye looks like an egg eye and it's like dead. No, you don't want that. You want to go at an angle. So we're just going at an angle. And once you have your line that you like, you just connect it to the other line. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. And so just get as much liner as you need. So I like my wing to be a little more out. So I'm just gonna draw it out. I personally like a really long wing. I like dramatic, obviously. Into my hair. It's just fun. And then you're just gonna go into the inner corner of your eye. And you just get it as smooth as possible. And if you have any little, I guess, empty spots, just fill them in. And that's it. There's your wing. Now the other side. Same thing, start in the middle. I know sometimes it seems difficult, like you can't match the other side, but you can. Remember, sisters, not twins. And so you're gonna kind of guesstimate. So this one's right here, a little out. You just kind of try and match them up. If you're beginning doing this, you can use a piece of tape. That gives you a really crisp line. And if you mess up, there's always concealer or makeup wipes. You'll do fine. I'll have to insert a picture of when I was like 19. My eyeliner was terrible. We're gonna insert that picture. We're gonna insert that, yeah. So y'all can see the progress. So sometimes our eye shapes are different. Like this eye is a little more open than this one. So your wing sometimes has to be a little bit different, and that's okay. I sometimes have to draw this one a little higher up than this eye just so that they look even. So just look at your eye shape and determine if it just has to be a little different. So once I start, I like to look at them and see, you know, what I have to do. If I have to make one longer, not shorter. I mean, you can't really make it shorter. But. And then I like to grab just a little tip of the brush, and that's how I do my really crisp line. So the reason I'm not a big fan of this Rimmel gel liner is because it dries really quickly, which is, it's nice, but that it dries quickly, so like you're in a rush, but it gets a little crumbly sometimes. So I don't know if I'm using it wrong or if it's just a crumbly liner, but that's that. So this side is just a little bit longer than this side, just a tiny bit. So I'm gonna grab the little edge and just bring it out a little bit, just so that it matches. And so I'm looking at it, and you just do it until you're like, yes, finally. And I like to smile in the mirror. I know that's strange, but it kind of helps me, like, oh look, okay, this side still, I drew it a little bit longer. Let me add a little bit here. But you don't want to add too much, because then that's when you end up, let me keep adding, and your eyeliner is like over here. So there we go. Winged eyeliner. All right, next. So I'm gonna do my lips next, and then I'm gonna do my lashes. So for lips, which, you know what? I can take this bobby pin out now, so I don't look crazy. And brush my bangs down. Are my bangs done? Are they acting crazy? Is there like a piece that's weird? No. Okay. Oh. Alright. Alright. So I'm gonna use, I have a couple of different colors that I was gonna choose from, but I'm gonna use this matte LA Girl flat pigment gloss in Frisky. And it's just a super red. I really like them. Sometimes they taste weird. Well, not like I eat them, but they just have this weird, like, chemical-y taste, which sometimes I'm like, is this safe? But I really like it, so I'm gonna keep using it. And I'm not gonna use a liner. I'm just gonna put it on. It lasts really well. That's the only reason I really like them, is because they last so good. I really should do like a lip scrub or something like that, but it's gonna put it right on. And I'm just following my lips. Okay, now I'm just gonna start on the top. I do like to make my lips a little bit bigger. Sometimes I get carried away and I look like a clown, but you know what? It's fun. So, clowns are fun. So at first I just follow my lip line. Grab a little more. And then what's really cool about these is you don't have to dip so much either. It's like one swipe. They're really pigmented. Obviously, it's called a pigment gloss, so I just really like them. And I've tried other ones, but I just really like this red. So I like to go like this, make sure my lines are even, cause my mouth's kind of crooked. Or I just think it's crooked, I don't know. All right, now back to the top. And I just like to look at my lips, make sure, just even them out. To me, lipstick and eyeliner are like hand in hand. I feel like sometimes I just get too carried away with lipstick because I want it to be so perfect. So I'm like, oh my God, it's so perfect. And then I mess it up right here. Why? Why? And then I have a missing spot here too. All right, so if you're like, oh no, I've messed it up, you're gonna get that little concealer brush you used for your eyebrows. Or not concealer brush, was it concealer or foundation that we used? Foundation, and I just like to grab a little bit of foundation. And to make your red lipstick extra crisp, I like that word, crisp. You can grab it, and you're just gonna make sure you had nothing in your teeth, because I'm pretty sure I've had something in my teeth this whole tutorial. Wow. Wow. Okay. Anyways, you're gonna, well, at least, you know, it was when I looked terrible, I had something in my teeth. Now it's, anyways, you're just gonna make it crisp. Oh God. Okay. All right. Now the lashes. So I'm gonna take these Ardell wispy lashes and I'm gonna put them on. I'm gonna take some Duo dark tone adhesive, and wow, it has something on it. So it's just this. I actually, Duo is okay. I really like, there's this one glue called Superstar glue. You can get it at any local beauty supply store. And I really like that one. It really, I feel like Duo takes forever to dry. And the Superstar one is so quick. I love it. So. So we're just gonna let it dry. Dry. Takes a minute to dry. All right, so I don't use tweezers. I know a lot of people use tweezers. I always do it with my hand. So you're just gonna look down. I start right in the center. I place them right in the middle. And the cool thing is that this Duo is dark, so it'll blend in with your liner. And then I do the corner. And if you get a little glue, it's okay, because it peels right off. All right, make sure you skip through this part, because I'm doing a terrible job. All right. My lashes on. Look at that difference. Do you see that? just like, hi. And it's like, eh. So I'm just using these wispies, and when I took this one off, like a little piece fell off, so I'm just gonna cut it off on this lash so that they're even. Because nothing's worse than uneven lashes. It's probably a lot of things that are worse, but. And I love to push them up because I want my eye to be like, bam! Here I am. Okay. So I just keep, I'll like just keep pushing them up until I'm like, okay, I like that. And then I'm missing a little bit of liner in this corner, so if you need liner after you put your lashes on, you just go over it a little bit, which I'm probably gonna do. So same thing with the other one. Glue. Not really till it dries, so it gets tacky, because if it was dry, it wouldn't stick to your eye. Ooh, that rhymed. If it didn't dry, it wouldn't stick to your eye. Okay, so now grab it. Same thing. Put it in the corner, in the middle. Like I said, one of my eyes is bigger than the other. So I do push this one up a little more than this one, because this one will just be like, you know, deer in the headlights, and then this one will be like sad and egg-like. So, and I say egg-like because you know when you crack an egg and the yolk just like runs out? That's how I imagine whenever like this. And you can push it up, like I said, just a little bit. And we're just gonna wait till that little piece dries up a little bit. And you want to make sure you get it as close to your lash line as possible. You do not want to put it on your eyelid. No. Alright. So we're gonna get a little bit more of that liner. And if it's dried out on your hand, just get out the tube or the thing. Okay. And I'm just gonna go right. I'm just gonna make it even. Make sure there's enough on this side. And then I like to close it and see, sometimes your eyeliner will be a little uneven when you put your lashes on. And I'll just make it even again. Just make sure you don't do it where your eyeliner, where your lash is gonna like fall off. I know, I do a funny face when I put eyeliner on, I'm like. So same thing on the other side. Perfect. All right, mascara. I'm using Maybelline Falsies. I really like drugstore mascara. I think high-end mascara, certain ones are good, but I feel like they're really comparable. Is that a word? Comparable? So I really like Falsies mascara. I like, this is actually my favorite mascara. This one's in waterproof. I like it in the non-waterproof version, but waterproof just holds so much better. And you can go swimming with it, which is cool. And I'm gonna put a little bit of mascara on the lower lashes. Just be careful that you don't smudge, because that happens to me. Then I like to come back with a little bit of the Wet n Wild Glow and get a little brush and dip it in there and put it in the corner of my eye to give it a little extra glow, make my eye look a little bigger. Okay, And then the last step, powder. So I'm not gonna be baking or anything today because this is just a simple tutorial. So I'm gonna get just this little Morphe powder brush and dip it into this Wet n Wild Photo Focus pressed powder. And this really doesn't provide a lot of coverage. It's more to just set your under eyes. And I'm just gonna put it under my eye. Put it under my eye, on my nose, my chin, my forehead. We can move my little Spock bangs out of the way and put some powder. Get them back. Okay. And I'm noticing that I need to put a little bit more lipstick at the bottom, just a little bit to make the line crisp. There we go. Let that dry. Then I'm going to take some Mario Badescu, and spray it on my face. It's like a finishing spray. I love this stuff. It smells so good. It's the rose water one. And there you have it, folks. This is the finished look. I hope you liked my hot mess tutorial. Subscribe. I think the button's down there. If it's up there, subscribe. Just subscribe and leave me some comments and like my video or hate it, you know, whatever. Just give it some attention. Thank you for watching. Thanks for watching it all the way through.